Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in. You clicked on this video to learn about the Standing Liberty Quarter, so we're just going to jump straight into it. First, let's start off with the basics of the coin. The Standing Liberty Quarter was minted from 1916 to 1930, and it's composed of 90% silver, which roughly translates to about 0.18 troy ounces. The design was created by Hermon MacNeil and was modeled after Doris Doscher. There are three different designs, which are commonly referred to as types. Type 1 was minted from 1916 to 1917. Type 2A was minted from 1917 to 1924. And Type 2B was minted from 1925 to 1930. There are three different obverse designs and two different reverse designs, which you can see now. The obverse did not change between Type 2A and Type 2B. Now that we've established the basics, let's dive into what key details separate the different types. All three types depict Lady Liberty on the obverse, holding an olive branch in one hand and a shield in the other. Both reverses depict an eagle in flight, surrounded by stars. So you're probably asking yourself, what makes these designs unique? Well, here we see the obverses of Type 1 and Type 2A. Now, the largest design changes occurred between these two types. The major differences between the two types are the details on the head and breast. These details will continue to be prevalent even in lower grades, especially the hair details. Minor differences, which may be harder to identify once the coin is worn down, include the design of the shield and the drapery of Lady Liberty's clothing. Just to recap, Lady Liberty's hair was altered between designs, her exposed breast was covered by a chainmail breastplate, and the shield and drapery were slightly altered between the designs. Now, as mentioned previously, some of these details will be worn away in lower grades, and that will make it harder to identify the two different types. So let's practice and take a look at some examples. See if you can identify which coin is a Type 1 versus a Type 2A. If you'd like more time, you can feel free to pause the video at any point, but I will be revealing the answers now. Let me know in the comments, how many you got right. I'd love to hear back from you guys, see if this advice is helping. And as you can tell, it does become considerably harder to identify the types in lower grades, especially if you don't know what you're looking for. The major details, such as the hair, are still a key identifying factor that make it easier to distinguish between the two varieties. And another major design detail is actually around the rim of the coin. That pattern on the Type 1 doesn't wear away nearly as often as it does on the Type 2, so that can also help you identify them. Now, the only design change on the reverse occurs between Types 1 and Type 2A. The major difference between these two designs is the eagle being raised to the center of the reverse, and 3 stars are being placed under it, which have been moved from the left and right side of the design, as well as the text kind of being compressed a little more. This feature is probably the easiest way to identify a Type 1 versus a Type 2. And then once you figured out whether you have a Type 1 or Type 2, then you can look at whether it's a Type 2A or a Type 2B, and we'll get into that in just a second. But the reverse with the eagle, the 3 stars are by far the easiest way to determine whether you have a Type 1 or a Type 2. Now, minor differences on the reverse are the A becomes kind of slightly covered by the wing of the eagle, and the dot between United and States is removed, as previously mentioned, because of the new spacing of the coin. Now, we see Type 2A versus Type 2B, the obverses. No changes were made to the reverse between these designs. The only difference between Type A and Type B is the date. The Type B had a recess date because they were having a problem where the date was the highest point or one of the highest points on the coin, and so it was wearing off really fast in circulation. Even some nicer examples of coins just didn't have a date anymore. So they decided to recess the date behind behind more metal, so that way it would wear down less quickly, and you'd have the date present for longer. So that's my tutorial or way of identifying types 1, type 2A, and type 2B from each other. Thank you so much for sticking to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. If you guys enjoyed, I would really appreciate if you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you could stay up to date with my future uploads. I'll be talking about Indian head pennies in my next video, which is my personal favorite US minted coin ever, and I'm really excited to share some information about them with you guys. That video will be released on Wednesday, July 17th, and I will see you all there. Thanks so much.